I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
Leaked clips from Gervonta Davis's training camp reveal him throwing punches with massive, heavyweight sparring partners as he prepares for his showdown with Jake Paul.
Stop closing up, gotta let it go. Keep turning, step around. Keep turning.
The clips show Tank pushing his power against towering opponents, proving he isn't fazed by their size. His team reportedly set up these brutal sessions to harden him and shut down critics who question his skill against bigger fighters. Gervonta Davis has been facing much bigger opponents in his training, sparring with heavyweights and hard hitters to fine-tune his strength and timing. These intense sessions highlight his confidence, as he refuses to stay in his own weight class while challenging fighters who outweigh him by a lot. Jake Paul has built his career by picking fights that grab attention and spark controversy. He doesn't pick opponents by chance. Every matchup is crafted to give him an edge while still leaving room for uncertainty. Whether it's a gap in weight, experience, or style, Jake always finds a way to gain leverage, yet keep the audience guessing. That push and pull between control and risk is what makes his fights so compelling. Fans know he's strategic, but they also feel the danger in seeing him face unpredictable challengers. Each fight turns into a story of advantage weight against possibility, a gamble that keeps viewers on edge, wondering who will seize control when the bell rings.
Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. It just feels like Jake Paul is always picking fights where he has a massive advantage. Like now he's fighting Gervonta Davis, who's, I don't know how much smaller, but probably close to like 80 pounds smaller, which is a crazy significant weight advantage for Jake Paul. Now, you have to also look at the other way. Gervonta has a crazy advantage over Jake Paul. He has incredible amount of skill, more years of training. For sure, pound for pound, he would mop the floor with Jake Paul. But this is what makes the fight exciting. And two guys fighting, and we don't know who's going to win. Guys, what's the key to having a fight that's exciting? Is when you look at one corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And you look at the other corner, you're like, that guy can't be beat. And they're about to fight. Somebody's about to say go, and these guys got to go at it. So that's what makes a fight exciting. And so this is kind of that. Because if they were the same weight, none of us would tune in. We'd be like, this is just a punching bag for Gervonta. It doesn't make the fight exciting. But because Jake Paul is so big, so much bigger, it makes the fight exciting.
Promoter Eddie Hearn feels this upcoming bout between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul crosses a risky line. He believes boxing's essence lies in true competition, not in flashy spectacles made for hype. To him, this fight looks more like a show hiding as a sporting contest. The size gap between the fighters makes it obvious they aren't facing off on even ground. Jake Paul is naturally bigger, while Gervonta comes from lighter divisions built on speed and precision. Hearn cautions that when boxing leans too much on entertainment, it risks losing its core as a professional sport. He views this event not as a test of skill, but as a business performance designed to draw views and money, potentially undermining the respect boxing has earned through generations of discipline and sacrifice.
I always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves? And certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between just because you don't like it doesn't mean isn't going to do good business. However, you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers. It's just not boxing. And I don't think we should promote it as boxing.
In the meantime, then, Eddie, where does that leave you with Anthony Joshua? Are you exploring other options for the end of this year, or are you still looking at that fight for the
Yeah,
beginning?
no, we're not interested in the Jake Paul fight right now. After that, I mean, like, we're not going to wait around till November. Is it November or December, whenever it is,
November.
and yeah, and see how he gets on. I mean, if he gets chinned by Gervonta Davis, we can't exactly make the Anthony Joshua fight.
Former champion Paulie Malignaggi takes a more grounded view of the fight. He reminds fans not to mistake this event for an official boxing match. It's a show. He highlights that there's no betting, no real ranking impact, and no lasting consequences for either fighter's career. To him, the bout is more like a modern exhibition, designed to entertain the crowd rather than challenge professional limits. He stresses that people should watch it as a spectacle, not a competition. Malignaggi's perspective mirrors the frustration of many purists who feel boxing is shifting toward showmanship over integrity. Yet, his honesty also reflects how the business of the sport has evolved, where personality and promotion can outweigh belts and titles.
Don't think when I watch it, I don't. I just think he's fighting opponents that, are not with it anymore or are too small for him and whatnot. But in this situation, it is an exhibition. So you've got to keep in mind that this could be set up. This could be like WWE. This one could be set up. I don't know. I'm not saying it is, but this is not a sanctioned fight, champ. This is an exhibition. And an exhibition means you cannot bet on it. You cannot bet on the result. If you remember, this is why they changed the Mike Tyson fight from an exhibition to a real fight, because they realized, an exhibition, you could stage it and they couldn't take bets on it. So this is an exhibition. There is no betting on it. So that means I'm not saying people are going crazy with the opinions who's going to win, who's going to lose. You don't know what size gloves they're going to wear. You don't even know if they're going to stage the whole thing, because this is something that, as an exhibition, it's not illegal to stage it. So I think this could be all kinds of crazy, wacky stuff. This is a bit of a circus, in my opinion.
Who would you think should win that fight? Would you think that Davis should be able to get in there, even though the size did 100 pounds? Do you think he should be able to do it?
If they don't stage it and don't kind of set up a sort of a mild sparring session, I'd say Davis has a chance. Depends on the size of the gloves. Because here's the thing: Jake is probably 100 pounds bigger than the guy. That's a lot of weight, Carl. You've been in a boxing ring. That still counts. And if you make the gloves small, Gervonta could technically hurt Jake even if he hits him. But the problem is the gloves are small. Jake could also hurt Gervonta because Gervonta's so small. Gervonta's so much smaller than him. So do you make the gloves big, and then really who's got an advantage? I don't know. Technically Gervonta's a lot better boxer, but he's so much smaller. I've stood next to Jake. Jake's a big guy. It's like I said, it's a bit of a circus freak show, and that's why I don't put it out of the question that this exhibition could be a bit staged in the ring.
Wade Plemons from the Wade Concept describes Jake Paul as a master manipulator who knows how to wield fame and ego like weapons. Jake doesn't just throw punches, he plays mind games that pull opponents into his world. He knows how to create tension, provoke reactions, and turn challenges into viral spectacles. Wade explains that Jake drew Gervonta Davis into this fight using money, attention, and the promise of massive financial rewards. In other words, he made it impossible for Tank to say no. Jake's confidence and marketing savvy transform every fight into a global event. He knows the Real win comes not just from triumphing in the ring, but from controlling the story before and after the bell.
Also, and again, Jake's only been boxing for 5, 6, 7 years now. It isn't necessarily far-fetched to try to have his own advantages when trying to fight other boxers that have been far more experienced than him. But this one's a little too much, right? This one is crazy because of the massive weight difference. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But again, as far as a sport fight is concerned, I want to make sure I make that clear. Again, this is not me hating on it, because I do think that both guys have been very upfront with what they're doing in this fight and what their goals are with these kind of events. But the narrative Jake's trying to create as if this is like proving anything for him fighting a real fighter when Gervonta is so much smaller than he is, it'll prove something in the fact that Jake is willing to put on great events, but it won't prove anything to the people that are asking him to fight a real fighter. I will say though, if Jake goes out and flatlines Gervonta, the casual audience that will say Gervonta smokes Jake completely and utterly, like it wouldn't even be close, that will change their minds a little bit. Not the people that know boxing, but the people that are going to watch this, the casual viewer that know the name Gervonta Davis and know the name Jake Paul. If he is to compete with Gervonta at all or look good in that fight, people will in some way accept that. Or they'll do the other thing where they just say the fight's rigged, which has never been the case, but you get what I'm saying. What Jake is doing is trying to convince a casual audience that he belongs in the ring with bigger names. If he's able to hurt Gervonta at all, that might actually do.
Despite all the hype around this event, Gervonta Davis is treating it as a serious challenge. Insiders from his camp describe him as focused, disciplined, and fully prepared. His sparring partners have been noticeably bigger, reflecting his commitment to confronting the physical challenge head-on. Observers at his press appearances have noted his calm demeanor and razor-sharp focus. He isn't swayed by the circus surrounding the fight. For Davis, it's not about fame or spectacle, it's about proving that skill and precision can outmatch size and showmanship. This fight is personal for him, a chance to defend boxing's technical roots in a matchup designed to push him to his limits, both physically and mentally.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I got to say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff.
The fight has split fans across the boxing world. Some view it as a blow to the sport's integrity, while others see it as a way to modernize boxing and draw in new viewers. Supporters of Davis argue this is his chance to show the difference between an entertainer and a true fighter. Meanwhile, Jake's fans claim he's breaking barriers, generating interest in a sport that has struggled to capture younger audiences. The debate highlights a clash of generations, those who cherish boxing as an art, and those who see it as entertainment. Regardless of opinion, the fight has done what Jake Paul does best, get everyone talking about him.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face, yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it. But it is kind of crazy. It is kind of corny. You know what I'm saying? If he not going to fight Shakur, and if he's standing on it like, I'm not ever going to fight you, I'm not doing you no favors. And, all right. But then again, you know what? I don't know what them guys got going on. I don't know what they've been through personally. You know what I'm saying? But would I love to see that fight? Hell yeah, I would love to see that fight. And then number 3, you said what? You said?
The retirement.
The retirement? Oh. Boxing, they're around. They're It's always gloves around. It's on you. It's on you. I'm chilling. You all right? Yeah, get with me. I know. How you feel? Dark skin boy. That's my man. The retirement is like he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this?
The outcome of this fight could shape the future of boxing for years to come. If Jake Paul wins, the sport might see more influencer versus boxer matchups, where star power outweighs rankings. These bouts could draw huge attention, but risk pushing real champions out of the spotlight. On the other hand, if Gervonta Davis wins decisively, it could reaffirm faith in traditional boxing, proving that experience and technique still triumph over hype. This fight is more than just two men facing off, it's a statement about the kind of boxing the world wants, one built on skill and honor, or one driven by spectacle and attention. Despite the criticism, millions are eager to watch. Traditional boxing has often been seen as slow or predictable, while Jake Paul's fights are the opposite, fast, chaotic, and packed with shock value. Fans may criticize him, yet they can't look away. His style bends the rules, creating moments that trend globally. The unpredictability makes every punch feel risky, every round uncertain. Whether people love him or hate him, they're glued to the action. The chaos he brings keeps audiences hooked, even those who claim to despise this kind of entertainment.
The purists hate it, the algorithm loves it, and both will watch. It's not just who wins, it's what wins. Will the entertainment value or the ring IQ come out on top? Because if Tank dominates, the meme dies. Jake Paul survives or hits it big, we see new rules are going to be written in real time. Me, you, maybe everyone at some point has been that bigger guy thinking that I'll just bully him. Jab, slip, liver shot, sat me down real nicely. Size helped until it didn't. All I'm saying is let's not dismiss something because it looks weird. Many fights get decided by the details. Feet before fists, timing before muscle, discipline before clout. Look, Tank wins if he stays Tank. He's built on patience, traps, explosive counters. That's hell for a tall guy who gets eager. Jake's long jab is the gate, but Tank's head movement is the key. Once he times it, the door's getting open and the furniture is going to get rearranged. Think locksmith versus padlock. Big padlock looks scary until the right tool clicks once. Jake throws that overhand like he's bowling with the shoulder. Effective, but you don't see.
The matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul challenges what people consider real boxing. It doesn't follow the usual path of climbing rankings, mandatory defenses, or chasing titles. Instead, it exists in the space between professional competition and entertainment spectacle. Many traditionalists argue that fights like this hurt boxing's credibility, while others say they keep the sport alive in the social media age. The biggest concern is that both fighters are still in their prime. Exhibition bouts usually feature legends past their peak, but here both men are still building their legacies. That makes this fight unusual, blurring the line between a serious sport and a global show. It's not just about strength or skill, it's about identity. Gervonta Davis embodies the disciplined, old-school fighter who earned his reputation through years of dedication. Jake Paul embodies the new-age showman who built his empire through personality and business savvy. Both approaches carry power, but only one will shape the next era of boxing. If the fight ends in Davis's favor, it could remind the world why true boxing skill still matters.
Fights like this, with fighters pretty much in their prime. But other than the size mismatch, most people are wondering why has Tank taken this fight? And those were the first questions targeted to Tank in this presser. Because usually these sorts of bouts are relegated to the latter part of your career. And for most Gervonta Davis supporters, They thought they would get the big fights next, the Shakurs. They didn't think he would be fighting Jake Paul. Although Tank tried to push it off as fans should just be happy watching the sport and hey, haters will be haters, I think that's quite unfair to the people who have been loyal supporters of him and honestly have paid his bills. He tried to compare the level of criticism he gets to the likes of Mayweather.
That's a wrap for today's video. Stay tuned. Until next time.